Hello! I'm Ariel, and today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching this, I will be reviewing, talking about, gushing about Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Excuse me, 1 second. Gotta have that tea. So, if you have never read this book, or don't know anything about this book, I'm going to tell you. So, Ready Player One is a book that is set in 2044, the not-so-distant future of 2024, where people live in just terrible poverty. The world's gone to shit, essentially, by 2024, which, let's hope it doesn't, but in this world it has, and people don't live a lot of their lives in the real world. They live in this giant multimedia immersive place called the Oasis. They wear the, goggles and the gloves and suits, so, they can feel and touch and smell and taste, and everything is in the Oasis. The Oasis was created by James Halliday, which I believe his full name is James Donovan Halliday, but I don't know, and don't quote me because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, maybe, positive, kinda. You know what? I don't know. Anyway, so he dies. That's where the book kind of starts. Not really. It is a little slow at the very beginning because there's a lot of crap they need to tell you. But anyway, so he dies. So James Halliday dies, and when he dies, he says, I have no one to leave I have no family, I have no friends, I have nothing, I have no one to leave the Oasis to and my vast fortune to. So what does he do? On the day he dies, bam, here's a video. I have a contest. Whoever wins the contest gets all these things that I just mentioned. So people are going batshit crazy for this thing. So they're looking for the Easter egg. They're looking for keys to get to the Easter egg, and it's been a long time, so they're like, maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe he was just, trolling us. But then there's people out there known as the Gunters, or aka Gunters, but egg hunters, that are still on the quest, and our boy Wade Watts, better known as Parzival, that's what we hear, that's his name in most of the book, but his real name is Wade. He's still looking, and he's a very smart kid. And this very smart kid finds a clue that leads him to the first key. Now, there's a lot going on in this book. There is a lot of 80s references, and I know some people are like, oh no, it's got 80s references. I was born after the 80s, way after the 80s. I wouldn't get it. I don't want to read it. You'll get it. And if there's stuff in here you don't get, then that actually kind of adds to the mystery, the ambiance of the book. And if you're anything like me, if you don't understand something, you're just going to look it up anyway. So why not? This book is extremely fast-paced. It has a lot going on. It's got action. It's got evil, corrupt government trying to, win the contest, known as there's the Sixers that are in the Oasis trying to win, so that way if the Sixer wins, the company wins, not the person who actually wins. So it's just it's really, really corrupt. There's a government murder. There's a little bit of romance. There's if you're not a romance fan, I'm not either. I don't like that gushy crap. I hate it. But this wasn't like that. It was actually really good. There's a lot of funny things in it. There's a lot of one-liners and good quips that I surely appreciated. This book has a lot going on. It's got 80s pop culture references. It has movie references. It has TARDISes. It has DeLoreans. It has old movies, books, music. It has certain parts. I don't want to spoil it too much for you if you haven't read it, but it's got this one point where a part of the game that you play is you have to be a certain person in a certain movie, and you got to play all the way through the movie as a certain person saying the right lines, which I think is so cool. If that was real, I would absolutely adore doing it, because the movies, I guess it's two movies. The movies that they talk about that they do that in, I personally would be phenomenal at, and I would totally love to do it. So that being said, this book has a lot going on, and it has a lot going on, but it's wrapped up in a very, very, very well written book. And this is actually now considered the first book. It was a standalone book. Ready Player 2 is coming out in, I think, 1 to 2 days. So I will actually be reading that, even though I'm a little iffy on it, to be honest, because I didn't think this needed a second book. We did not need a second book, but I think maybe he wrote it on the height of the movie. I don't know that for sure because I don't know Ernest Cline, but that's just how I feel about that. And if he wrote it to pander to the people who watched the movie instead of reading the book, I'm going to be really upset about it. Now, if you are intimidated on reading, this book is not very long. I don't know how many pages it is. I will tell you in a second. Hold, please. 372 pages long, so that's not long at all. And if you're not really much of a reader of this kind of book, or if you're just not much of a reader and you do more audiobooks, which is still technically reading, the audiobook is narrated by Will Wheaton. I love Will Wheaton. I love his voice. This is the only book I've ever heard him narrate. But if there's any other books that he's narrated, I might check them out. I actually haven't looked into that. I listened to the audiobook recently when I was quarantined for like 6 weeks at home, and I put it on, press play, cleaned my whole house, and I didn't realize I was so close to being done when I finished. That's how sucked in I got to it. Again, even though I have read this book so many times, that is falling apart and it will forever smell like coffee because I spilt coffee on it. But that's okay, because this is my book. It's fine. So, this book, all in all, is for nerds in general, or anyone who loves pop culture references, or just wants to have a really good laugh. I highly, highly recommend this book. I think that this book is one of the best books that I've read, and I have read several books. This is one of those books that you're just going to be sucked into. Just so sucked into from start to finish. I have recommended this book to so many people, and I want to give a shout out to my cousin Jessica, who actually recommended this book to me. Even though I was extremely hesitant, I read it and fell in love with it, and that's the end of that. I also want to give a shout out to my cousin Sierra, who actually made the intro at the beginning of this video. So she's really, really talented. I will link her page in the description. So if you have read this book, or haven't read this book, or have seen the movie, which I think is terrible, by the way, let me know how you felt about any of those things. And if you did watch the movie and you loved it, why? I need to know. Like, I honestly need to know, because I don't understand. I don't understand. So if you could comment in the comment section, let me know how you felt and why, I would be truly grateful. So if you made it to the end of the video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and comment, let me know how you feel about however you feel, even if you just want to say hello. So have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, or a good night, wherever you are. Thank you for watching.